You know, and I know, and they know, and we know, we go all in. You know, and I know, and they know, cause we know, we go all in. You thought we wasn't coming in tonight. What's up? Welcome to the newest edition of What You've Been Missing. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are the All Dressed Up Podcast. I just want to make sure my mic is picking up everything tonight. Halitosis. What's up, F Streams? What it do,
What
my
it do?
guy?
What it
What's
do, K
going on?
Dizzle?
What's the word, my guy? Hey,
Man,
we just look, we coming off a strong special edition with that Enough Said podcast. Shout out to the Enough Said podcast, man, coming through. Doing
what's
a
good?
midweek
Enough
thing.
said, man. Shout out to the fellas, man.
Shout out to everybody that came through and watched us do our thing with it too. Oh man, how was your week? How was your weekend?
Man, it was fast, man. It was a blur, man. But you know, another Sunday in the books. Had a lot of entertaining football today.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. What's good with you though, man? Really uneventful for me, man. Just chilling, spending time with the family.
Bro, it's December. It's Christmas time right now.
Of course.
It's crazy. It's the end of 2022. It's the wrap up season, man. It's that time of the year where we start reflecting on see on how far we've come and where we're about to go and things of that nature, man. 69 episodes in the book, 69, 60 fizzle. I like the sound of that.
How do you feel, man? 69 episodes later. Who would have thought? The
Who would have
dedication
thunk it?
is real.
Well, look, most importantly, the love is there. The love is there. And look, when it happens, it happens. You already know what's going. You already know what's coming down the pipes. When we blow up, we're gonna bring y'all with us. We're gonna keep the door open. We're gonna bang it down with our foot and keep the door open when we keep rolling. Shout out to the two people that are in the building and everybody that's rolling in. But look, where you want to start, man? You want to start with you got a rant this week? You got a rant?
You know, I'm not even gonna say I rant anymore, K Dizzle. If anything, I just give my opinion here and there. You know what I'm saying? And I
We
think a
saw
lot
short
of
it right now. Okay.
nah, for real. Like I'm in a
All
real
right.
good chill mood today. You know what I'm saying? It was a pretty weird football day, so I don't really know how to carry my energy. But if I had to go into a rant, I would say, what's up with this new hip hop, right? I'm not gonna
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh.
I'm not gonna talk about how I feel about new hip hop in general. But I'm starting to hear a lot of comparisons, right? I'm starting to hear a lot of these crazy reaches. Like this artist is like the new Tupac. And the comparisons are starting to get a little agitated. It's like I'm not gonna hate on the younger artists or any of like, these young guys or women getting it right now because that's all about the art. You want to see hip hop evolve and everything. But when I gotta hear like who was that I just heard is closest to the newest version of Tupac. It wasn't NBA Youngboy. It was one of the other guys, and I was just like, they gotta stop that. Just stop that, man. Like, I don't think we're gonna get any new versions of Tupac, especially in today's rap game. And I'm not
Mhm.
trying to say Tupac is like the end all be all artist of all time,
Right.
but we just gotta stop making those comparisons. There are no more Michael Jordans. There are no more Tupacs. Let it go. Be the next man. Be the next best thing you can be. And that's my take.
Well, the problem is that anytime you have greatness personified, right?
Mm.
Little baby is nowhere near Pac. I
That's
don't
who they
know.
were talking
Was it little
about.
baby?
Yes.
Was it little baby? They said he the new
Arizona,
Pac.
what's good, Arizona? I don't think you came through for the sports show, Arizona, but it was off the hook last week.
Look, man. Anytime you have greatness personified, they have to set a certain level, a certain monarch or um, um, a certain status. You gotta have something to reach for. Like you gotta have something to reach for, like Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. You gotta be compared to somebody who's great within their time. The same way we're going to everybody from here on out until probably eternity will be compared to Michael Jordan. will be
But
comp-
But you know, okay,
or the Michael Jackson, for that matter, or anybody who was huge like that. So, or Prince.
I won't continue to like hate on these young guys. Like I got my own opinions about their music and everything. Like I be hearing a lot of people really, riding hard for this new music, and that's your thing.
Hmm.
Like I'm not gonna shit on the little babies of the world because obviously they're very successful, and that's what's up. But I
Yeah,
do have to stop. I do gotta throw the flag on the play when they're saying he's the new pop. Like I don't even want to hear that debate. Don't Let's not start doing this, man.
you're taking some serious offense to that.
Yeah, I gotta draw the line somewhere. So that's my take this week. If you're coming in late, it's okay because we crept in on you guys about 10 hours. You know how we do it. We're live each and every Sunday. My man K Dizzle, go ahead and tell us what's on your mind to kick the show off.
Oh man. You know what? I think it feels like every other month there is. This is my rant. It feels like every other month we come up with a new name for something that we've been doing or that's been happening forever, right?
Okay.
Uh, s- Prime example: simps, um, high value women or high value men. But
Toxic.
now toxic, but the new one is, I think is the new one I've heard is situationship, right? Situationship. Basically, what they're saying is you got two platonic friends, right? They're in a relationship, but they're not having sex with each other.
Hey K, as I chat straight, I still see that little invalid link thing showing.
Yeah, it's straight. I'm probably still seeing that because I came in a red, yeah, red pill energy,
Red pill energy.
by the prescription, bro. Situationships, man. I
What you
don't
talking
even
about, K?
understand. So
What you
hold on,
talking
man.
about?
Let me. I don't even want to go in.
Situationships.
Yeah, situationship meaning, right? Well, this ain't it. It's saying a romantic or sexual, a romantic or sexual relationship that is not considered to be formal or established. Maybe I had that backward. A commit. Okay, it's basically a commitment-free relationship. Is that what you're? If that's what you're looking for in the moment, it can give you a chance to enjoy the benefits of the relationship without expending too much emotional energy. So basically, you in a relationship, but you're not putting you're not boyfriend or girlfriend, you're not seeing anybody. But yeah, sex is involved situationships. So basically, you it's male and female or whatever the couple is. You gotta be PC. Whatever the couple is, you have intimacy, but you're not committed. Committed to a title at that
So what
point.
you're saying is this is the old fashioned, we
Um,
messing with each other, but we don't got a label type
this
shit.
is this is Bobby. This is I'm taking it to Bobby Brown's humping around type, situation, or we can even take it further back to Naughty by Nature with OPP. I mean, it's we're just putting labels on something that we're
Hold up,
putting
time
labels
out,
on being single,
time out. You're telling me OPP was about other people's women?
other people's property.
I never
Absolutely,
associated that to being about your girl.
no, no.
I
Well,
was a kid back then, so maybe I was
oh,
wrong. Maybe you just taught me something.
situationship. You just having relations. You out there being single with no ties, other than the soul tie. But we ain't going that route. But it's what it is. But now, we making it a big deal of calling it a situationship. Just let it be what it is, man. Just live your life and let it do what it do. We ain't got to put a label on it. We ain't got to make everything a label. Just Jesus Cristo. That's all I'm saying. We need to stop trying to put labels on everything and define everything. Let's just let things be and just let it happen the way it's supposed to, instead of just trying to say, I want to call it this. No, no. That's my, now when you say that's my friend, it has a completely different meaning to it. Completely different meaning. You can't call nobody your friend anymore. You gotta be, that's my situationship. That's my associate. I say, that's the homie. That's my friend. And then
I
somebody
don't
gonna
like
take it however they want to take it. At that point,
I don't like this new term sneaky link. I think that shit sounds
sneaky
stupid.
link,
I think that sounds
sneaky
stupid.
link. That's a horrible term. That's a
Stop
horrible
sneaking
term.
around and link and get your ass together. Get your shit together, man.
All right.
We a pro healthy relationship podcast, man.
Sneaky link. So when you're with somebody and nobody knows, who cares? That's the same difference. Same difference. But look, let's dive into your win, lose, or draw team sports today.
So look, man.
Um, really quick.
I'm with you, Kate Dessel. I'm exhausted. Today, if you spent any time watching the NFL, I don't care who you like. There was an exhausting day for I think every team that's out there. Who had a phenomenal day with no real injuries or stress today besides the Eagles.
Just the Eagles.
The Eagles did their thing, man.
Just the
The Titans finally let me down. I'm always picking against the Titans. I picked the Titans today. Eagles bust that ass. So, we're not even gonna stay long on that. Garoppolo, Jimmy
Jimmy G
G. Man,
does what he
salute
does
to you.
best.
He took his
Sadly.
he took his G out the league, and he's definitely out for the rest of the year with a broken foot. The
Hmm.
49ers are down to Purdy, the third stringer, and they're going to show you what they can do with the run game and
It's a wrap.
defense. But I definitely think the 49ers lost their chances. Matt Stafford is contusional as usual. He left, and he's out for the rest of the year with a spinal cord contusion. Prayers out to Matt Stafford. He stole a championship, man.
You said it. You said it at the beginning. I mean, that was God looking out for his time in Detroit. I wish God did the same thing for Barry Sanders, but I mean,
Dan
man,
Marino, a lot of these guys that didn't have Charles Barkley.
man, he was looking out for Matt Stafford, pulled him out of the fire, and took him to the promised land. And now he ain't got much to play for other than some money, and he got all this money. You know, what season is this for Matt Stafford? Is this
It's
13,
it's over for Stafford,
13,
man.
14? Yeah,
It's,
he's
it's
done.
over for Stafford. We'll see what the Rams want to do, but they definitely got to get their next guy up because it's been a tough year for them. We got to talk about Deshaun Watson makes his appearance. We're not much of a sports segment if we don't talk about this guy coming out looking rusty as ever. You can tell he hasn't been in the parlor as of late, but he definitely has some protesters out there. They said 10 of his accusers came out, and that game was awful. If you had a chance to watch the Texans and the Browns,
I saw a little bit of highlights. The issue is, yeah, we knew he was going to come out rusty. But some of the passes that he did make were dimes. But outside of that, I mean, the defense did it all, and I think they still have an opportunity to make some type of run at it once he starts putting all the pieces together. So he was
it's not,
quick with the release on the passes that I saw, and outside of that, he made a couple plays with his feet, but they were terrible. They didn't score an offensive touchdown. It
it
was
was
all
awful,
defense.
man. And I'm gonna tell you two teams that are really getting to me, and one team's in the playoffs possibly, and three teams. K Dizzle,
Who's
since we're
that?
talking about it.
Fix my glass.
The
Thank you.
San Diego Chargers, we talked about them a little bit on the sports special that we did with Enough Said. And I told you, and you were, I think, on my side actually, and I
Hmm.
told the fellas, don't give me that San Diego Charger bullshit, man. The San
No,
Diego Chargers don't want to make the playoffs. They don't want to win anything. I don't understand that franchise. They had an opportunity to gain some ground today, lost to the Raiders. That's just disappointing. And then you got the Ravens who find a way to pull out these wins, and they tend to have these good regular season records. And the market's a spring need a day,
hmm
and their abysmal win. I mean, an NFL win's an NFL win, but over the
no,
Broncos, I
no.
don't. Yeah, talk about it, King.
All right, so really quick, because we want to wrap really quick. The Broncos, the issue with the Broncos, and I have yet to understand why the offensive coordinator has not been fired yet. Because the Broncos have a top three defense. They've had a
But they're not even playing
top
top
three
three.
defense. They've had a top three defense on average. I think the points scored against them is like less than 20. But the problem is the offense is a bottom five offense every single week. Bottom five. You got one of the best QBs in the league right now, despite what you say. You got two decent wide receivers. You had a couple decent running backs. Um, it's just terrible scheming. They look
Mm.
they look a hot mess from the little stuff that I saw against the Ravens. There's no reason why in that game that they lost, that the Broncos lost. They are terrible. Their offensive coach is still there. I have it boggles the mind right now. Maybe the head coach is calling the plays. I don't know, but
Are they worse than
they sh-
Jaguars?
are they worse than? Yes, their defense is top tier, but their offense is
Because the
trash.
Jaguars came out today and let Detroit just run them off too. And I'm like, when are
Well,
these
Detroit's
teams gonna?
actually. I think Detroit's a good team that still has no identity yet. They need to get rid of Jared Goff. But
Mm.
Detroit's a good team. Jacksonville's a young team. Um, your 40 the 49ers, like we talked about, are done for the year. I don't care what you say.
After a win,
Um,
they're done.
After a win, they're done. And then the last team we want to talk about, we're not going to talk about the Eagles. We need the
Let's talk
Cowboys to lose
about them.
tonight. No,
Talk about them. The Cowboys are losing right now. They're not playing impressive against the Colts. I'm looking at
no,
it on the side.
14-10 or
Um,
something like that.
and then we talk about the tie. Like I don't even really know what happened today, man. Like if you were under a rock today, the Commanders and the Giants played to a tie. The Commanders came out dominating the game. They took over the first quarter, and then all of a sudden, the Giants defense started playing well. And from like the second quarter to the end of the third, the Giants just took over the game. What's up,
Amen. What's up,
Shanae?
baby?
And then the
I
fourth quarter came and it got shaky for both teams, and they ended up playing to a draw in overtime. So the
I
good thing
heard
about this is, real quick, is that the Commanders are going to the bye week. They're going to see some things shake, and then they get the Giants again. But go ahead, bro.
I heard during that game, I heard calls for Carson Wentz because your boy was throwing ducks. He was out there throwing ducks after ducks after ducks. He
Well,
made
well,
some when they mattered, but other than that, he didn't
well,
look good. Y'all were
Tyler
ready to.
Larson, Tyler Larson, the center, went down. Quiet as
Hmm.
kept. He got carted off today, and I knew that
Yeah,
was going to be a
yeah, yeah,
big
yeah.
loss because when we lost him, the offensive line had to compensate for the interior,
Hmm.
and you started seeing guys coming off their edge just untouched, just blasting Heineke. And I'm
Hmm.
telling you, bro, like I think the play of the game was he didn't fumble the ball when he got sacked at their own one when the guy
Hmm.
came around unblocked and they punished Heineke, but he held onto the ball. So I mean, I don't know what the tie does. What do you think, man, before we get off of sports?
The only thing that Ty did was not allow Philly to clinch their playoff spot this week. That's the only thing it did. I don't think it's. I don't know if it's going to help you in the end because you're going to have to win out in the division to make some noise for the most part. Because you guys already lost. Did you lose to Dallas already?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost to Dallas. You tied with them. You split one with us. So you
They're
got to
one,
win
two,
out.
and one. Yeah,
One,
one,
two, and
two,
one.
and one.
So you got to win out. You have to win out. You got to win out because we're going to beat the Giants twice. We're going to beat them twice. We're going to beat Dallas again. Dallas is not who they say they are because they're struggling against the Colts. Colts are a decent team, but the only reason they gave us a run is because they came into that with a brand new coach, with a brand new Jeff Saturday coach. But other than that, man, um, football is here. It's getting tight. And we all have a short memory of how Philadelphia is the strongest in December every year, like clockwork, my guy. So we'll move
And
on
then
from
and
that.
then what happens in January?
In
Hey, but
January,
look,
hey,
we're gonna sum up the sports segment. K Does will keep us rolling, man. Episode 69.
episode 69 in the world and Christmas, man. The first things we do is before we get to talking about some of the things I want to talk about, let's talk about um, the year. Are you where you think oh Jesus, brain fart. Are you where you wanted to be by this time of the year?
Are you where you thought you would be?
Are you where you thought you would be, and are you where you wanted to be?
Mm.
That's the question I
Scary
want to ask you.
questions, man.
That's what
Scary
I'm going to
questions.
ask you.
You know,
Are you where you want to be?
coming into my year for 2022, I had the biggest blessing ever with the birth and arrival of my daughter Nova.
Mm-hmm.
She was born January 1st, started off the year with a bang. And ever since then, my life has been totally different for the better,
Mm-hmm.
very much so for the better. I have a pretty decent family, I should say, now with my baby Shanae, and
Mm-hmm.
we're doing the thing. And this year really went by, I would say, fast. And I hate to say it like that because when you say like your year went by fast or something, it tends to sound like you didn't have a great year. But it was very, very busy.
Hmm.
Having a baby and learning her each and every day, and learning ourselves and our relationship each and every
Hmm.
day as we grow. It's just made everything interesting, and I think yeah, I mean, I had no idea where I would be going into the end of this year.
Hmm.
But I gotta say, K Dizzle, looking back, I'm happy. I think that we have a lot to build off of going into the next year. Speaking of my family and myself, and that's pretty much it. It was exciting and a lot of rolling with the punches, I should say.
Yeah. And the second question to that is, what's the biggest change? I know it. Look, this is December. I know, and we'll probably talk about it later on in December. But what's the biggest change you can make for yourself for next year?
Mm. You asking me now?
Yep.
So I've seen a lot of people say that waking up early is part of their success.
Hmm.
And something that I think that might change my life, and just to speak on something personal, is I tend to try to, make the most of my nights and carry business on late into the night and kind of start the day trying to, catch up on some sleep before I get my day started. And I think I'm gonna try to change it, create some new habits, and try to get up at that 5 or maybe 6 o'clock in the morning mark, just so I can start planning my day, meditating, exercising, probably cooking a good healthy meal for the day. And I think that will definitely show some change. I don't think that if I do that, I won't see any results. That's the thing
Hmm.
about that challenge for me. Like, I can challenge myself to a lot of things and not necessarily know if it's going to work out. But I mean, if I start my day at 5, 6 a.m. and get ahead of everything, I think that's a great start. So that's my change.
That's strong. That's a big commitment. That's a huge
Easy to
commitment.
say,
Early.
right? Easy to say.
Easy to say, harder to walk, right? So I'm gonna answer my two questions, right? The first one's, are you where you thought you would be by this time of the year? I'm gonna put that on the ticker so people can think about that.
That's
I
a good
am
question, Katie. You came with a good question off the bat.
am I where I thought I would be? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The biggest question I ask, um, am I right where I'm supposed to be? Absolutely, absolutely. I went through a lot of different changes, right? Look. See, now you're hitting yourself. I went through a lot of different changes. I lost a lot of family this year. Made me think about a lot of different things. I went through some transitions as far as work is concerned. We went through some transitions as far as the podcast is concerned, and the focuses in life are concerned. So,
Mhm.
um, but I feel like I'm in a place of positioning to where all of those everything is falling into place, moving in the right direction. So I didn't have, like I said, you had a big change as far as becoming whirling into it, becoming a father, and I've watched that growth as it's matured, and over time, seeing the effects. It just reminded me of the effects of how much that changes not only your perception on life, but your decisions on life, and you come at it at a different angle, and you understand what's more important, right? And the biggest change that I can make moving forward, which I've started to make actually this month, and what's today? It's 4 days going now. Is um, not touching my phone within the first hour of me waking up.
Yeah.
Not touching my phone within the first hour of me waking up. And what that has done, because what it has done is allow me to put a bunch of other things, move a bunch of other things forward into the limelight, and actually getting some other things done. Because anybody that's watching this right now can say this unequivocally, and if you don't, you lie to yourself. One of the first things you do is you get up, you pick up your phone, right? You look at it. Oh, I got that picture. We'll talk about that picture later. You look at it,
This
and then
guy in this picture, man.
you turn your alarm off, and then you immediately go into the scrolling mechanism that's already wired in your brain, looking at either your text messages, your notifications, your reels, your stories, or your feeds. and you do all of that before you even get up and go to the bathroom. On average, the average American spends about 10 minutes before they get out of bed sitting on their phone, going through their phone. So I've replaced that with doing other things like exercising, um, going on my computer and knocking something out that I was, doing the night before, or writing down notes on what I want to accomplish today, or writing down plans on some of the things I want to do get done by this week. So, um, and I've been a lot more productive, and I
Mm.
find a lot more happiness with going to work. Even, the hardest thing is getting out of bed and going to work, right? Because we don't want to go there. Nobody. I don't care how much you love your job. If you could work from home, you will work from home. You will not leave your house, right? Let's be honest
Yeah,
with ourselves.
absolutely, absolutely.
So nobody wants to go to work. So I find myself finding more happiness to be able to go to work and do my normal thing, and then go home. And I've been more successful because I go in with a more positive attitude. And it's all because I changed my habits on a 1 hour pause. Now, what helps me with this too is, which is difficult. Anybody who knows this knows it, knows why it's so my phone. Um, my commute is 30 minutes. So so I do my wake up time, do my thing, and I leave my phone alone when I get in the car at 30 minutes. Just listen to it for. So that's what helps 1 hour, because I don't tell anybody, I don't recommend anybody doing a whole 1 hour. You can do 20 minutes to 30 minutes, but take a little bit of rest from your phone. It'll change the way you do a lot of different things. So that's my quick thing in before we start talking about some of the things I want to talk about. Um, in this episode 69. Now, I put on there for the name of this episode is the end of the world or and Christmas, is because, yeah, you said it sounds like a bad thing. We say time, time is moving fast. No, that's just a thing that old people say, because as we get older, time moves faster because we're so involved in what we're doing on a consistent basis. And it doesn't move the same way that it did when we were kids, right? We felt like we had all the time in the world. Now you get older, you feel like, damn, you know, I remember when I used to change your diapers, all that dumb shit, right? All that dumb shit. So, um, I say all that to say, look, the end of the world, meaning no. Before I go to Elon Musk, okay, because I'm going to talk about him in his Neuralink. If you don't know, Elon Musk has revealed this what's called a Neuralink, where it's an implant in your brain,
And Kay,
microchip.
before you go down this this
Yeah,
this
yeah.
rabbit hole, put your number up, big dog,
Put
so
the
you can let
number
people
up.
know
It-
as you're coming in. Even though we started off late, we are live. And come on in, don't be afraid. Text 301-857-1757 and join the conversation. Chat it up with us tonight so we can go ahead and have some fun. But go ahead, man. Talk that crazy shit,
well,
G.
wait a minute. Before I talk that crazy stuff, man, do you want to talk about Kanye West in
well,
the Nazis?
that
I
I
just
was I was I was like, waiting for the hook for this whole Kanye West situation over the last, like, 3 or 4 months. It seems like it's been 3 years. Like, I'm really tired of talking about at this point, unfortunately. But I can't rock with them at this point anymore, just because I can't wait for um the artistic, what's the word, analysis of, oh, this is what I meant. Like, at this point, we have to be candid. We got to keep it real. You can't say, you like Hitler, or there's things about Hitler you like, and there be any gray area right now. Like, there's too many people that follow you, that you quote unquote influence, because you're one of the largest celebrities in the world. And at this point, you really got to lose that mic, man. Like, it's time for you to be quiet and go figure yourself out. And I can't stick with it now. With the last crazy, bullshit story that he was reported in with Chris Paul. I mean, imagine Chris Paul and his family. Like, you wake up one morning and you get a picture
oh
coming
man.
across your phone talking about your husband was with Kim Kardashian. And my stupid ass asked my girl, I said, babe, be honest, if you were Chris Paul's wife, what would you have said? And she was like, depending on the track record, and you obviously loving your husband, she was like, I wouldn't have paid it any attention because
Hmm.
it's foolishness. And that's where I kind of, me personally, I gotta draw the line, bro, because there's some type of code. Like, damn, like, you're trying to destroy so many other people now and bring people with you. I
Hmm.
can't get with it, man.
He's too far gone. I think he's just trying to say more and more outlandish crap just to stay relevant. Look,
I think the platforms that have put microphones in front of them, I would put a mic in front of them because we need the business. But I think the platforms that are doing it are obviously looking to just keep the circus going. I mean, he's on Alex Jones's show with another well known white supremacist, and all this hate talk and all this violence inciting speech that's going on just has to start coming to an end. It's starting to get crazy.
mm, I have no words for Kanye West. I have no words. I'm not interested in anything he has to say at this point because he's too far gone. I guess he figured he done pissed off the Jewish community. He's gonna keep going. But look, another thing that's really coming up in our African American community right now, which is a big thing, is Coach Prime.
Yeah, I'm
Coach
glad you went
Prime,
back to that, even though we love
yes.
sports, because this is obviously bigger than sports. But go ahead, Kay.
So Coach Prime, everybody knows he's been at JSU, blowing
Done a
that
great
area up,
job. Done a great job at
blowing that
JSU.
area up, done a great job putting a lot of the focus and limelight onto HBCUs and talking about the disparities in between the NFL, looking at HBCUs and so forth. And he's done a great job. He's killing it, and he got a job offer to go be coach in Colorado. And now our community, half of it is, I think it's split. Half of them are pissed that he's taking it. They call him Uncle Tom and all this other stuff, and the other half is happy for him, congratulate him. What do you think on that, man?
The toughest thing about the situation is if there are any players that exclusively went to JSU for the relationship to play for Dion.
Of course.
And obviously, you've got a handful of those players. So I do feel for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, Dion has a certain relationship and he's had communication with those specific people.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I had to think, those are the only people he probably owed an explanation to.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, in my opinion, can kiss my ass. Like what he did, he went down Jackson State and did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody wanted Prime to be there forever, but you knew Prime wasn't going to be there forever. I didn't
No.
think he was going to probably take a job right now. I can't say that I didn't think he was going to take a job this soon, but I definitely saw him taking a job at a major market.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, well, you talk about HBCU importance and how important it is to have people go to those schools, and
Mm-hmm.
then you up and leave and go to Colorado. Every coach gets promoted and moves up, and
Right.
that's exactly what he said. You
Right.
should be happy for him to be able to go. That was his first major spotlight of having a head coach opportunity.
Right.
So not only did Jackson State win, but Dion won because he got to show something that a lot of schools wouldn't have gave him the ability to do.
Right.
And I think everybody wins. I do think it's sad for the players that thought Dion was going to stay, but I definitely think Prime is going to be able to put some resources there with the money that they raised to keep it going. And I don't think he's going to be non-existent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To still helping that school out. But what's that man supposed to do? Not take a better opportunity?
Come on, man. Come on. Those who are upset are those who are stuck. Those that are still in the barrel. That's the easiest way I can say. Those that are upset are those that are still in the barrel. You want that man to play college ball for the rest of his life. You don't want him to get drafted by the NFL. You don't want him to go on the practice. You want him to stay on the practice squad.
What'd you
For
say?
the
What'd you
rest,
say,
you
Kay?
don't want him to get drafted. You want him to stay on the practice squad rest of his life. You just want him to play a ancillary role. The man is doing a great job. You're going to get noticed. You're going to get recruited the same way they recruit high school football players. Um, they said a lot of people decommitted to Jackson State. It's well understood and well understood why.
It's gonna
Because
happen.
because you had a high profile coach there that was that was going to get looks based on the people he saw. Same reason why people go to Ohio State. It's a high profile school. Same reason why people go to Alabama. It's a high profile school. You're not going there just because they're paying. Oh, they got a good. If you're a football player, that they got a good biomedical engineering program. No, No, Slim. You go in there to get, you go in there to play football and
But
go in
but
there to get be
also
seen.
but also, okay, at the end of the day, you want a lot of people. You want diversity in the coaching ranks.
Hmm.
You want diversity in the coaching ranks just to be able to give these players opportunities to be able to play for different types of coaches.
Yeah.
Not every coach is going to work for every player, and it's not always racially, equivocal, or
Hmm.
it's not always the race that comes down to it. It's coaching styles, and some players like to play for former players. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what Dion did, the Cowboys just scored going into the half. What Deion Sanders did was he gave Jackson State the spotlight,
Hmm.
and he showed Jackson State what they can do.
Hmm.
Deion Sanders didn't play football for them.
No.
Let's talk about what the school did. Yeah, he's a great coach, but they did that.
Right.
He was able to show them what they can do when you put some talent down there. You put together a healthy program for these kids,
Hmm.
and they can be successful. And that's the overall message. Every HBCU should take that and run with it because, in my opinion, every retiring influential player should get an opportunity to come coach down at a HBCU,
Mm.
even if they got to probably pass the torch every 3 years, because those guys are probably going to get other coaching opportunities.
Mm.
And if you can set it up to where, all right, this guy comes in, coaches for 2 or 3, he sets it up to where he can pass it and give the opportunity to the next coach. I think it could be a good idea for everybody
So, so my magic question is this: why does that have to be the springboard? Why does that have to be the springboard for a black coach?
because you're not going to get the Colorado job without proving yourself at Jackson State, and that's the whole point. And that's what Deion Sanders just did for a lot more than himself and a lot more than Jackson State.
So here's my issue with that. You got a lot of successful HBCU programs out there that have been ran very well, have good football teams. They're still not getting the
Of course not.
opportunities that a Colorado or Oregon or Arkansas or Tennessee. You're not getting that opportunity. So just
So I
I think.
hope Deion kicks the door open for those coaches. It can't be a one-off.
Hmm.
It has to be, look, this is the blueprint for how we're gonna do this. And
Hmm.
I don't want to say that's got to be the springboard, but don't leave your HBCUs high and dry,
Hmm.
but just keep a system to where you can keep passing the opportunity.
So this is where this is the other part of it that nobody's talking about, and how this is going to be such a crucial move for HBCUs because of the recruitment process that
Right,
Prime has when
right.
he goes to Colorado in these bigger schools, right? And he's going to be on a bigger platform. He's going to use the same. He's going to use the same. Hey, mom, the
What up, Mom?
same recruiting prospects from the same schools that he's looking at, and they're going to want to go exactly to where he is. Now he's going to pull people out of HBCUs that don't would normally have a look to be on that high profile game on Saturday. That's going to ball out, and it's going to change the actual culture and how HBCUs are going to be looked at and recruited upon. You see what I'm saying? So even though he moved to a different team, a higher profile team, the platform that he created is still there. And
My point.
he's still going to use those things to help better the community in a bigger way.
It
So
can't be. It can't be all Dion left us. It's got to be Dion left us a strong foundation
yeah, Dion
to
opened the
build
door.
off of. Right. And I'm
Dion
glad. I'm
opened the door.
glad. I'm glad that you see it in some ways that as well, because everybody can jump on that, man. But goddamn, man, let somebody win.
Hey, it ain't like he need the money, but I mean, if 500 between 500 and 5 mil, yeah, you got to move that. You got to move that. Nay says the bigger problem is why don't HBCU have the same opportunities as PWI, especially since 90% of the talent is African American. That makes no sense to me.
That's what it's all about.
It makes all the sense in the world. See, college football is pay to play, and the programs that have the most money are able to spend the most money and woo the biggest talents because they have the platforms. HBCUs, until Prime put a spotlight on it, didn't have a daggone platform as big as Prime was able to put it up there.
Well,
and
the
see.
problem, kid, not to cut you off,
Thanks,
but
mom.
it's like you got players that don't go to HBCUs that are growing up right down the street from those HBCUs,
Hmm.
and you're going to the schools like Colorado,
Hmm.
and you're going to the schools like Alabama, and those HBCUs are struggling. But again, you also have to have some type of pride and accountability to want to go to that school and be there for the program and not just be there for prime.
Hmm.
You know, like you can't just say I'm at a school because of prime. I don't know.
Most of them, well, they are because they see prime as an opportunity. Same way you see any other big league school as an opportunity. Same way you see any other, Alabama or
But
any other
he's
team.
probably thinking like, come on, fellas, like you see what you can do,
Hmm.
keep it going. Like I don't think him sitting there dancing in the locker room every single year for 20 years is going to be necessary for JSU to be successful.
Mm.
I think what needs to happen is, there should be more payment to these students to go to schools where they can thrive in their own community as opposed to not be able to afford school, not be able to live and make it through their education. You know what I'm saying? In those systems and
Hmm.
drop out after a season. You know how many athletes unfortunately don't continue their career because they go to these schools and they don't have a plan and they drop out after one bad season.
Yeah, of course.
So
But I see the big. You got Deion Sanders was an idol that to a lot of black men, of course. So a lot of black men with shoes, with shoes at school just because of him. Um, the best way I can describe what has just transpired is this: the same way that uh, 4 or 5 or 6 big ball players came out of PG County area, DMV area, and now everybody recruits from this area is the same thing that Prime did for HBCUs, right? So everybody in the country, we got documentary after documentary now, knowing that DMV is a basketball town.
that's a
If you
great
want to
point.
find some, if you want to find some great players, everybody in the nation knows they need to come and look in this area for some ball players because that's
Don't go to
everybody here.
Montgomery County.
Don't go to Mo County. You gotta go. It's PG, DC, Charles County, some AA, but mostly the city and some northern VA schools. This is a basketball area, and so the same way that culture began growing, and we started getting people out the same way that Prime built is going to build it on the national scale. And yes, they did go because they had shoes. They did go because most of the kids nowadays don't remember Prime shoes. They only buy them now $300 a pop. But what they
or
do know is
or his music
or
video.
his music. What they do know is he has a light. He is a Hall of Famer, and I'm going to go where they're watching a Hall of Famer. So um, I think overall he did the best thing. He did the best thing he could with the time he did in Jackson State, and also he advocated for college players being able to make money, being able to make money, and it's still a controversial thing right now. But the laws have backed up a little bit. Now they can get scholarships and sponsorships and stuff. So
Hey
he had
man,
a reality show.
side note, real quick, an injection. AJ Brown was talking shit today.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And that the saga will continue. I know you watching the highlights. I know you watching the highlights. But look, let's. I'm gonna move on to the last thing. We're probably gonna spend like 5-10 minutes on it because it's crazy. A lot of people didn't pay attention to it. I'm gonna share my screen really quick so that you guys are aware. Now, if you've been under a rock recently, um, some people have, some people haven't. But Elon Musk, let me get that off of there.
Dum
Let me
dum
really go to it right.
dum.
Dum dum dum. You know, man behind Tesla, man behind the Boring Company, and the man behind trying to get free internet to everybody. He had a Neuralink shows a brain implant prototype and robotic surgeon during recruiting event. So he was recruiting engineers to come work for Neuralink. Basically, what he does is puts a chip in your brain and implants it, and you can send waves or electrical impulses to control different parts of your body. And what he's saying is This kid started allowing people who originally didn't have sight, they can regain sight. Quadriplegics could possibly regain functions over their arms or their limbs, and so forth and so forth. So he did um, give an example of this pig where he could send an impulse and he could contract or move the pig's leg around based on an electrical impulse because he had the Neuralink in his brain, which was crazy. So look, not only did he do that, right? But let me get this pig off my screen. Not only did he do that and showing this Neuralink, right? He also they also already have built a machine to implant it into the brain with a high success rate. They built and designed a machine so they can implant it. And I know it sounds crazy coming out of my mouth right now, but you got to understand where we are in technology right now. It's 2022, and people are working on stuff like this, where where quadriplegics could be able to walk again, or people without sight who have never had sight can actually regain sight. Um, and we are in the beginning stages of this stuff.
We'll
And
talk about side effects times a billion. But go ahead, bro.
so no. So let's talk about positives. Let's talk about positives and negatives, right? What are the positives that you see in this kind of technology? Yeah, we're
Well,
talking about Neuralink. Go ahead.
the positives of this whole idea of becoming a cyborg, because that is what this is. You're talking about implanting technology in the human body
Yep.
and and transfusing tech and the human biology system. I don't even know if I'm
Hmm.
talking right now, but you know what I'm trying to say. Um, can it help pedophiles with their urges? Very interesting question. But that's the thing. Like, obviously, the pros to answer your question, Kay, is that if it works, you're talking about being able to, possibly help with a lot of diseases and health issues that the human civilization faces. My biggest thing that's scary to me is, once you cross that line, and obviously the line to cross it is going to be used to go in the medical field by getting that whole plant. But if you went this route by saying I didn't plan it for something else, it might not go down the way you planned it to go down. But obviously, because it's going to be used as a health, you know, resource, and it's going to help people with all their diseases and issues and ailments, we might give it a try. But I think it's just the beginning of implanting chips in humans in general, or any other species that you can control. And imagine species being controlled by remotes because they have a chip in them, and now you got different uh things happening in society where they're controlling different types of like security against us. I just think one thing will lead to another, and I can go all day about conspiracies and such. But what do you think about the technology in general before I ask you another question and like get off on a tangent?
So so Shanae said something important. I'm gonna read this one. What about the robots that I'm going to be able to apply deadly force in San Francisco?
Exactly.
Wild, right? Wild. But here is the other question, right? And there's a deeper tangent to it, right? Can I help pedophiles with their urges? My question is, who will get this? Will biotechnical enhancement only be for the wealthy? This opens up an entire um, encyclopedia of not only ethical questions, not only moral questions, but more importantly, privacy questions for the future, right? So, so you see Elon Musk shows off monkey type with a brain implant instead of a typewriter, all that other stuff. You can move stuff with impulses, right? In this day and age, anything and everything can be hacked, right?
Exactly.
Anything and everything can be hacked. So when you start moving in this direction, now you have situations where Neuralinks and things of that nature can be hacked. And now you can have people doing things that they physically are unable to stop themselves from doing. The same way we want to use it to help pedophiles with their urges. That means we have to tackle the brain in a certain sense to help curb that craving. But if you can do that on a small scale, imagine everything else that could be possible on a small scale.
Like you just
Can
said,
you
it's a
can
great point.
can
Everything you
you
can do, there's another opposite of what can be done.
exactly, can you use this Neuralink to actually cripple cripple a nation who has them or who mandated in their system and cause them not to eat again and hold them hostage until you get them to do your will? It's just the ideas and in- the ideas behind the positives that I can create and the negatives that I can create are mind boggling, right?
Because
But
you're creating more variables, and
so you're
whenever you
creating
have
so many
variables you
variables.
can't control. Like you said, if we were to go to war, there's a possibility that the country that we're at war with can hack into those systems.
And at the same time, you can use this technology to help somebody who's never walked before walk, stand up, and almost live a normal life. And at the same and then the other thing goes, well, what about those who are mentally deficient who have issues within their brains and not firing on the right cylinders? Can you find ways to correct that? So it's 2022, right? We're on the verge of electric cars being a normal thing, and then this technology comes around. Now, keep in mind, this could be, you
Is it
know,
inevitable?
20. It's inevitable, right? It could be
Is it
20 years away. But even with showing this, please go YouTube. Even with showing this, it doesn't feel like it's 20 years away, and it scares me uh, a whole hell of a lot more than I'm excited for.
let me throw you a curveball and ask you a question,
Yeah.
because I do a lot of research on technology and ancient civilizations and tech and all that good stuff. What do you think is more realistic to happen sooner? Colonization on another planet, or what you're speaking of in chip implant?
Oh, what we're speaking of right now, because as we've already seen, we have no way of mastering interplanetary travel right now.
So do you
We don't
think
have the
what
energy
well
source.
what Elon Musk has been rumored to to be spoken of having trips to Mars and things of that
Yeah,
nature,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not but not
He's already done trips to Mars.
but
Yeah,
not to
but
go off on that tangent. What do you think about the odds of, like, there already being, like you saw, animals getting tested? Do you think there are people, behind closed doors working with the government getting these implants now?
by all means, by all means, by all means, this technology is being used in other ways and to train and do other things. I just the fact that it is coming out in the open and we're so close to it and within our time, I didn't think I'd see it in my time. In my time, I was hoping to be dead and gone before Skynet came. before before robots kill us, but let alone here we are. And the funny thing is, we're in the automotive industry, so I see a lot of people buying electric cars. And the first questions they ask is, "Well, how long do you think um, I should keep this car? How long do you think I'm going to need this car?" I said, "Well, with the way the technology is moving, we could have a completely different set of vehicles within the next 5 to 7 years."
Absolutely.
There's no way for me to tell you what makes sense and what doesn't. Your technology at that point could be obsolete,
We're
but
at
you
an
just got
interesting time,
we're at a very interesting turn of events right now, going into.
especially with the like the older people who are still alive now. The amount of technology that they grew up with was vastly different from the technology that we're talking about now, that our kids are growing up with. So just to see how, in my 36 years of being here, there's been a lot of change.
Bro, they didn't have color TVs hitting the 50s, my guy. So so it's just one of those things where you just gotta look at where you are and just say, wow, we're moving at light speed, and we just gotta be mindful of what's coming next. Elon Musk shows off a monkey that can type with a brain
Mm,
implant instead of a typewriter. I'm just look, chips in
that's
the
deep.
brain. That's coming. It's all coming. You're gonna have your biblical people say mark of the beast and all that other stuff. I'm not in for that, right? Ooh, why did I switch it like that? I'm
Are
not in for that.
you are you getting a chip?
Huh? Am I getting hell no, I ain't getting no chip, bro.
This is
Mm-mm.
way deeper than the vaccine. Are you getting a
No,
chip?
hell no. Actually burn my body. Don't put me in the ground.
K Dizzle DC said, "Hell no, I
No,
don't want that chip."
burn my body. Don't put me in the ground for somebody to have to move me later on. because this world is getting too small. And I just watched in Florida how they, white folks paved over black cemeteries,
mm.
you know, black cemeteries in a day so they can make money, and said they were moving them, but it makes no sense for anybody to go on the ground now, because ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We all gonna come from the same. Ain't no reason for me to don't pay extra for a box. just keep it in your memories. That's it.
It's
I
some
know.
scary.
I know.
It's some scary times, man.
But look,
Scary times.
but we only thing we have is today, and hopefully tomorrow. We just know it's coming. That's why we gotta always take the time we did like now is reflect and look back where we came, how we changed, and how we can make better changes for the future. 2023, I'm just blessed to be here. A lot of people didn't make it in the past 2 years, and not going to see 2023, especially with everything that we went through. Um, so just be thankful, stay prayed up, and just be glad we got our right minds and we don't have no chips in our hands yet. Coach Prime is getting paid, right? The Eagles are top tier football. The Commanders get a week off to figure out what they're going to do with the Giants next week, and we get to love on one another one more day, right?
All I'm saying is don't give me the bullshit chip. Give me the high processing chip. I don't want the cricket chip.
Don't get don't
I don't
get
want
the
the
mint mobile.
T-Mobile. Nah, I don't want those chips. I don't want that. I want the real deal chip, the Tesla chip. But nah, in all seriousness though, before we go, I saw a video. I wanted to ask you your opinion on
Go ahead.
something.
Wait a minute. Shout out to M Stu, because this is that other ethical question too. The wealthy will definitely have better upgrades. Okay,
No question.
dystopia world, they will have better upgrades.
That's what
But
I
go
was
ahead.
just talking about. Don't give me the
Yeah.
bullshit chip. Don't give me the welfare chip. I don't want that. But anyway, so with me now being a father and just being more cognizant to my environment, and also because social media just keeps pumping, different, I guess, videos of different things that occur out here now. And you made a very good point, K Dizzle, talking about when you wake up, like what you take in on your phone.
Hmm.
And we have to remember to protect our energy.
Hmm.
And you said, what do I want to do, this year coming up? I really want to learn how to do a better job in protecting my energy, because I
Hmm.
realize that when I don't allow outside things to bring me down, per se, I can have better days, be more successful. So the whole point of what I'm talking about is I saw a video, and it was a barbershop, and
Hmm.
it was a guy in a barber chair. It looked very similar to any barbershop setting that you know of.
I seen that. I seen that.
And it's a very certain places are supposed to be sanctified, per se.
Right.
Like there's
Right.
certain places where you should be allowed to go, and maybe I should say let your hair down, not necessarily look over your shoulder as much, because it's a community place, right?
Hmm.
Barbershops are places where we can go talk about our problems, share information, talk about businesses, promote, network, politic, get your hair cut, and then go back to home to your family.
Right.
But anyway, this video that went viral is of a barbershop. Not sure where it was. Looked like it was predominantly black barbershop, and there was a barber cutting a dude's hair, and there's a guy that walks in holding a gun, and he immediately walks to the barber and shoots the barber. The barber goes down. He goes around the chair, shoots him again. The guy in the barber chair doesn't get shot. He still has the barber like smock on or whatever when you get
Hmm.
your hair cut. And he gets up, walks to the door, turns, pulls his gun out. No one knew that he had a gun.
Hmm.
Pulls his gun out like he really knew how to use it, and pretty much put the shooter down.
Yeah.
So my whole point is going into 2023, and with all these videos that are becoming desensitizing to some, it scares me because I got daughters and everything. So it's like, do you carry guns now? And I'm not going to open up a deep conversation because we're obviously closing out. We can pick it up probably next week. But at what level do you carry protection now? Because seeing something like that, it's like I got to be able to protect myself and get home to my family
Hmm.
just from getting a haircut. And don't get me wrong, it's always been a world where you can't necessarily walk to the store.
Right.
Rest in peace to like Trayvon Martin. But
Hmm.
it's just scary now.
Hmm.
It's just scary. So it makes me think like, do we step up our protection, or what do we do?
What do you do? The easiest answer to say is make sure you don't put yourself in any type of those situations, or surround yourself with people that could be in that. But some things you don't have any control over. And if you feel like that's a necessary thing for you to do, then do the necessary thing. If you don't feel like that, then don't do it. But you just now you have bigger things on the horizon, and you have other things to think about. That's when you start growing, your circle starts getting smaller. Anybody who's had any type of success will tell you that as you start to grow, your circle will get smaller, and which means that the people around you are going to either feed you the same energy that you have, or help grow the energy that you have, right? They're going to give you the same energy or help grow the energy that you need. So that will in turn keep the drama away from you, and you just got to make better decisions on where you spend your time. And when you start doing that, you'll see a lot of those things will take care of themselves. So only time you ever get caught up is when you go back to the hood when you know you shouldn't go back to the hood.
No doubt.
That's keep it a stack. If you stay away from people that you know aren't don't have your best interest at mind, or are gamblers, are gamblers in these streets, then you just don't go. You don't go. We can all share some stories on how we missed fate in those situations. So you just got to protect yourself at all times. Keep yourself in the right situations and areas, and make the right decision for you and yourself. So tell them where they can find us, where they can find you, my guy.
Look,
I'm
man,
gonna put it
K
up here on the
Dizzle,
screen.
K Dizzle DC said, protect yourself at all times. So true. But yeah, your boy Hef Streams is everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram at Hef Streams. Definitely have some original content coming. My man K Dizzle DC, where are you, big bro?
Always Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, same moniker you see here, same moniker everywhere. But most importantly, you can find us on Facebook or YouTube. We prefer YouTube, ADU Podcast. Look out for new videos. If you have any information you want to send to us, or anything you think we should be promoting, send it to the All Dressed Up Podcast at gmail.com. Lock this number in so to make sure you get your A double scribble on the show, and tell us what we need to hear, or tell us what side we're missing when we're talking about what we're talking about. Okay. But most importantly, make sure, if you ain't got your Christmas tree up by now, you need to get it up. I'm retiring our Christmas
Get it
tree.
up, get it
I'm
up.
retiring my Christmas tree. You should have put it up after Thanksgiving. I ain't gonna hold you.
I ain't
But
gonna hold you. Mine ain't up yet, but yes, protect your neck. Miss Stu said it best. But not to
yes.
cut you off, okay. I just wanted to say also, hit us up if you want to collab, man. The collaborations have been jumping. Enough said.
Oh, we
Was the
love it.
crew that we got up with last week? We had a hell of a sports show. We could talk about anything. If we got a fashion show you guys want us to come on, let's do it. If you want to talk sports, we got you. If you want to talk about everyday love and relationships, we could do that as well. But K Dills, it's always fun. Episode 70 next week. And go ahead, bro.
We'll take us out, man. Love y'all. See y'all next week. Peace out. And 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 they know, 'cause we go all in, and they know, 'cause we know.